Guys, it's so pathetic. Sneako might have a 90 IQ confirmed. This just happened live on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Sneako is having amnesia when it comes to understanding supply and demand of high-value men versus beautiful women. It's absolutely delusional. Absolutely delusional.
If I'm telling you 99% of guys are going to cheat on you anyway?
I feel like it's for me.
Hold on. I don't give a fuck what you feel like. What do you think? I want you to think. Think.
I'm thinking.
What do you know?
Not feel. Think.
I'm thinking, and I just feel like that's
No, think.
like.
If I'm telling you 99% of men are going to cheat,
I
give an
just can't-
option.
You say that now, but once you see how the world is, and you know how the world is, you're just trying to
Delusional,
fake
bro.
it right now.
But I'm delusional for feeling that way, though.
Yes.
I don't
you
know.
Because no,
In her
let me
defense,
ask you a
why is it
question.
delusional for her to have a standard?
Let me ask you a question.
No, she got that standard, but
if you have a
ain't
wife,
nobody
you would
gonna
cheat on
line
her.
up to it, man.
Would you cheat on your wife?
No.
Would you cheat on your
I wouldn't
wife?
cheat on my wife.
First
No.
off,
Okay.
she would know what it is, though.
So
Yeah, I wouldn't cheat on my wife.
That's what I'm saying.
Why is it
So
delusional for her to have a
There
standard?
are people who won't cheat.
Sneako, really?
Why is it, if that's her standard, why is that delusional?
There's-
Because most
Is it a
men are
real
not going
standard?
to adhere to that standard at
It's
all.
so pathetic when you realize that Sneako has been allowed to be around the red pill space and essentially be mentored and educated by these people, and still, I don't know if it's an IQ problem or what exactly is going on here, but not understanding the level 1 analysis of supply and demand of high-value men versus beautiful women is such an astounding failure. Most men cannot have multiple women as partners, but the top 1% or 1% of 1% absolutely can, because again, there are way more high-value men than there are beautiful women. So in a sense, the women don't even get to choose. The market decides for them. When you go to a club, you see all the women congregated in the sections. The fact that women are hypergamous ensures they are all chasing the same group of men.
I'm not.
Is it a real standard, Sneako?
Yes.
It's a standard, but
It's not committed
it's
to
a
me.
damn near unattainable standard. We
No,
don't have to watch
it's
other
not
things.
bullshit. It's true because most men are not taught how to deal with their emotions, so
Be honest,
most of
though.
them
You're
don't
picky
know
though,
how.
right, with men?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean,
Of course,
you're
but
saying it's
aren't you picky with your women as well? You
Yes.
don't want no thought box.
Here's the thing.
So what are you saying? I have standards too.
No. See, my standards are a bit more realistic than yours.
Yeah.
Oh, so you think mine is not realistic?
Men have to craft their standards around objective reality, and then they meet those parameters by achieving milestones. Men know that as your value goes up, the more attractive you become to 99% of women.
Why?
Nah, you're still single.
it is a realistic standard.
You're still single, man.
Aren't your parents? Haven't they been monogamous? My parents have been monogamous like 30
That's
years.
what I'm saying. Like,
My mom is monogamous
no.
of the fear of being beheaded and getting the stones thrown at her. Those things don't exist
What about
anymore.
let's be for
Times
real.
have changed,
They
bro.
live in America. That's not going to happen. But hasn't your dad? I don't mean to like bring family into. But my dad's been monogamous.
That's what I'm saying though.
That's a different
because
generation.
you know
That's a
why?
different
They
generation,
have
though.
purpose.
So pathetic.
They have
It's so pathetic. Imagine being around Fresh and Fit for over 12 months and not understanding what hypergamy is, dude. Think about that level of failure. I think we have to call this. We have to call it for what it is, intellectual inadequacy. This is blatant intellectual inadequacy. If these girls want to have a guy at the top of the status hierarchies, they're going to have to share him. And that's not because of what men say. That's because of what women do. That's because of hypergamy.
I can sexually satisfy my man by myself. Like, it's never going to happen. He's going to want a white girl one day. He's going to want an Asian girl. He's
You
going to
live in
want something
Broward. You
different.
should know this by now. But okay.
Right, but it's also our responsibility to not act on all of our immediate urges.
Dude, they're trying to discipline Sneako, but if he's failed to grasp it after over a year, if he's failed to grasp the most simple level of analysis of hypergamy after over a year, he doesn't deserve to be here. He doesn't deserve to sit at this table. I'm sorry. It's the truth. This is pathetic. It's pathetic, dude. So many low IQ people are infecting the young generation. The quality influences are Myron, so the Fresh and Fit podcast, Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, and myself. The everyone else is just, it's so pathetic, dude.
Trying to be monogamous.
Yeah,
You yourself, are you monogamous?
I'm not in a monogamous relationship. No,
But be honest. Find somebody who you are currently.
I'm saying that's probably better long term because then you don't have to deal with the back and forth and,
but
then
can
her
you
cheating.
yourself be monogamous?
There is no back and forth. If she gives you back and forth, you replace her. This is the reason why men should not be getting married under the current laws that we have set up in the West. Because if you enforce consequences by replacing a disobedient woman with a feminine woman, then you get wrecked in the divorce courts. That's the reason why men are at a severe disadvantage.
Monogamous.
Not monogamous, but there's a halal way to do it. Instead of saying, like, cheat on your wife, if you want to actually exercise those urges, there's a halal way to do it. You can have multiple wives.
Yeah.
Instead of going out, stepping out and cheating, like, oh, I want to fuck a white girl today.
You have to go to a religion to convert that into something sustainable.
He called him out. He called him out for converting to Islam instead of Christianity just because he wanted to have a cowardly way of justifying having multiple wives. The non-cowardly way of doing it is saying, I'm going to have multiple partners, I'm going to have multiple women because I can. That's the non-cowardly way of doing it. The cowardly way is saying, I'm going to have the armor of Islam. You shouldn't be converting to Islam just because you want multiple women. Also, guys, don't convert to Islam. Convert to Christianity. Christ is the answer. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. Dude, Islam is not the answer. Christianity built the West. Islam is a failed religion compared to Christianity and what Christianity has accomplished. And there's massive cultural degeneracy, not at the hands of Christianity in the West, but at the hands of people who are afraid to practice Christianity. Abraham in the Bible had like 4 wives, maybe 6 wives, something like that. He had multiple wives.
Yeah. Or they don't want to do that.
The average person could convert.
The bottom line is men don't want to be monogamous.
Exactly.
Bro. That's the bottom line I'm trying to make.
Every single man to do that.
That's just not, a lot of guys want to be monogamous. You say this on the podcast. I know a lot of guys that want to be monogamous. Even like Zerka says.
Okay, this is interesting. I think he may not be invited back on the podcast now because this is essentially immense disrespect that he's been on the podcast dozens of times and hasn't been able to understand the most fundamental presuppositions of intersexual dynamics. Men want to have multiple sexual partners. This is an objective fact.
Time.
They
Like,
can't even get
Niggas
one
be
girl.
cap, man. Yeah, that's what fucking
One
bitch.
girl.
Once they get
when
one chick,
when he was in a relationship, he was monogamous for like a year and a half.
And
But-
what happened?
He doesn't lie about that.
What happened?
Yeah.
They broke up.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
single.
but it wasn't because he wanted to go cheat. They had differences in their relationship. It wasn't because it wasn't based upon cheating.
Wow, Sneako's becoming, dude, he's becoming one of the bitches. He's becoming one of these emotional women. This is what weakness looks like, guys. And not only weakness, this is what incompetence looks like. Really pathetic. This is true incompetence. Imagine being around excellent men for over a year and you don't understand essentially how to spell your name. This is like being around Socrates, Aristotle, Plato for an entire year, and by the end of it, you can't even spell your name correctly. That's what this is like.
No, but that's the point. The man that's going to be monogamous is not really that man that she wants.
yeah,
Deep down.
the nigga that's monogamous.
It's
is not
harder
who she
to
wants.
find, but it's also hard to find a girl that's going to be okay with you cheating whenever you want a random
If
white
you're
girl.
successful enough, bro, they will accept it, bro. I'm telling you, girls will absolutely. Come on, man. You see me, bro.
Come on, man.
Come on, Sneako.
It's pathetic. It's pathetic. They're trying to win him back over, but at this point, it's a capability problem. He hasn't been able to understand this for over 12 months. That's a capability issue.
At the same time, that's the type of
His brain's not big enough.
woman you want to keep around you.
That's what I'm saying. There's
like
a, like
women that accept you cheating. Like
Right.
you think that's healthy though?
They're settling
Like,
for
that's
that.
not.
She thinks, man.
That's not.
Fuck what
good.
she
Of
thinks.
course it's healthy because she wants the best possible mate. She wants the best possible gene. She wants the best possible man. It's called hypergamy. I didn't invent it. Men didn't invent it. Women choose to operate this way, and they've been choosing to operate this way for the last 10,000 years.
Thanks.
Listen,
That's not
Really?
good.
Wait, one sec.
That's not.
Hold on. Fuck what your wife thinks?
Yeah,
Bro,
thank you.
that
Thank you. Like,
would not
for
be
real.
my wife.
That's why you're single.
Why? But why
Like,
does
let's
it?
be for real.
Hold up. That's kind of backward. Why does
Yes.
it not matter what your wife thinks about the marriage?
It
Because
does
I won't
matter.
get married at all.
That's not necessarily true. No.
Tradcon.
It's supposed to be
This
both.
is, but this is better for a long time. But hold on, but if you're gonna like make fun of me for being a Tradcon, why did we show the grandma video earlier when she was shaming the daughter?
Exactly.
One second, the grandmother was shaming her granddaughter for being a slut and not being married.
No,
And
she was shaming her granddaughter for not finding a man. That's what she was shaming her for.
we're gonna say, oh, we're not gonna get married, but she's a slut because she's not getting married.
She
Yep.
was exposing
Yeah.
the current generation that we have today. Back in her day, it was simple. The man took care of the woman. She was loyal. End of discussion. He would step up for another.
Bro, we have Fresh explaining to Sneako the red pill after a year of him being here. This isn't worth their time.
And then a
Just
man,
fuck
right?
everybody.
With purpose.
Yeah, it's beyond narcissistic. It's beyond narcissistic. A woman pretending as though she can say what desires or urges are valid or not valid.
I find it interesting that a woman sits here and says you should suppress your urges. But if I were to tell you, you should suppress your standards, you should get with a more boring, nice guy that's going to take care of you, that's 5 foot and making $50K per year. Would you take that?
Ooh.
Yes, as long as he has ambition.
You said you have a high standard.
As long as he has ambition.
Clause.
So yeah, like I'll take it for now, but you better do better, nigga.
Yes.
But here's the thing. What if I told you, no. Take the dude that makes $20K per year, 5'6". He's not the most attractive guy, but he's a nice guy.
When you reverse the incoherent demands, the absurdity becomes obvious.
What if I told you that? Suppress your urge to get the best man that
Where's
you can
his
get.
mental at? Because that's what I need to see.
See how you're not going to concede on what you want, but you expect me to concede on what I want. And what's even more ludicrous is that I have to work to get what I want.
That is the central element that is differentiating our modern era versus this Tradcon era of one man, one wife. That worked when every single woman was beholden to an objective framework. Now we have degenerate women. We have ultimately degenerate psychopathic women that think they are outside the framework of objective accountability. And so men aren't going to be chivalrous anymore. They insisted they wanted to play a 50-50 game. So we said, okay, we'll play a 50-50 game. We'll actually understand. We'll write the rational male. We'll break it down into science. We'll study the statistics. We will understand every aspect of this, and we will win the game. And that is the entire point of masculine performance in the red space, to win the game. There's nothing more powerful than a man that is disconnected from the femme-centric, degenerately feminine lies propagated by Marxists and feminists.
As a man, I feel like if I don't have multiple girls, my chick's not going to respect me and know where the fuck she got.
Well, I could see that perspective. I understand.
Wait, you need to have multiple girls so that your girl respects you?
Question.
Yes, they need to feel replaceable.
Right, either have them or have her know that she can be replaced at any time. That's how she acts properly. You can only have a woman love, respect, and admire you when she can look at you in a high place relative to in the masculine competence hierarchies.
My point is this. All I'm trying to say here is I'm just taking your analogy where you're not willing to lower your standards, and I'm saying, okay, if I'm a man and I have to earn my value to even be able to be attractive to women, why am I going to lower my standard in what I want when you're not willing to lower your standard? I find it incredible that women will never lower their standards. They expect men to lower their standards on what they want.
All the time.
And we have to work our ass off to even be able to get one girl.
Is it lowering your standards or just suppressing your urges?
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how it's equivalent.
I don't think a man should have to suppress his urges if he busted his ass to get to a certain point. If he wants to be able to enjoy the fruits of his labor, he should be able to do so.
But again, we've had this conversation. Why is it that you don't have to suppress that urge, but when it comes to like watching porn, you suppress that urge? Getting fat, being sloth-like, that's suppressing that urge. If you don't want to go to the gym,
it's not the same. Watching porn, playing video games, being sloth-like, all lowers your competence. It lowers your status in the competence hierarchies. It lowers your status compared to other men. Having multiple beautiful women as partners increases your status as multiple men. But again, Sneako, you've been around these guys for 12 months. It's a capability issue that you don't understand this.
and you have to suppress that urge.
Because you have to, because here's the thing, getting a woman, that if you do it correctly, you need to put work in. You have to learn how to be attractive. You need to work to get it. That's why busting a nut is so great because, well, not through porn, but through actually getting a girl's, because you had to work to be able to earn that ability to do
Also,
so.
you have to work hard enough to have the free time to play video games and be fat all day.
Yeah.
You can't be fat all day. If you're,
because playing video games and being fat lowers your competence.
I could get fat. I don't have to go to the gym. I could eat junk food because I've worked so hard. I suppress that urge because I want to be better. I'm suppressing that urge. It's not lowering my standards. It's just being a better man.
Yeah.
By not having sex with girls?
By,
Is that what you're saying?
But I'm saying it's not.
Oh, it looks so bad. Given Sneako's history, I'm not going to say anything, but it looks so bad. Oh,
It's not lowering your standards, just suppressing an urge.
Just having
Just like
discipline.
having an immediate urge, I want to fuck a white girl. I don't need to act on that. Just like I've thought about like,
Exactly.
hey, I want to.
When you go to a restaurant and they have multiple things on the menu, do you think to yourself, I have to order only the thing that is best for me at all times? Or do you think, no, I'm going to get a steak and some mashed potatoes this time? And it's a nice restaurant, right? You can select what you want because you are competent enough to have earned the selection on the menu. Lowers your confidence.
Girls just like have free time to watch porn and eat junk food all day.
Yeah, but-
I can
But
sacrifice.
there's no skill set to do that. It's a skill set to be able to be attractive and get women, but it's not a skill set to. And here's the other thing too: it benefits you in the long run. It doesn't benefit you to be a fat piece of shit, but it absolutely benefits you
Myron got there
to
eventually.
deal with women, understand how they move,
Yeah.
understand what attracts them, what arouses them, and then you're able to go ahead and filter women and put them in categories, and you understand, okay, this girl's a thought, she ain't gonna get taken seriously. This girl's actually a good girl. You need the experience.
But you need the experience. But once you get that experience, there's only fucking a girl again. Fucking a hoe is not going to give you more experience. You already know what they're like.
Exactly.
Sneako, I'm gonna bury you now.
Okay.
What are you telling me at dinner?
Well, I don't remember.
You dated multiple girls, right?
Yeah.
You tried being with one. and you're really bored.
Yeah, no, that's completely true.
Why is that?
Because the same reason that we talk about girls like becoming ran through and then losing their soul tie,
Exposed. Okay, yeah, it's a capability issue.
it becomes hard. Before you go to refresh, you saying that we talk about this, it would have been better. Like if I could go in a time machine again, it's better to go the route of not fucking a bunch of random girls for experience and then get with a couple girls that you want to be with long term. If I could take it back, if I could.
Oh my gosh, it's only a loss if you're expending resources and time unnecessarily. So if he thinks that he should take it back, it means he was doing it wrong.
Not because now it's harder to have a pair bond. Men pair bond a lot like women do as well. It's harder for me, and you'll get bored quicker. And also, we are affected by social media. When you're in this online space and you're
Dude, Myron's looking at him right now like, bro, I've mentored you for a year straight, and this is how you turn out. He's literally looking at him like, bro, you are my failed offspring. It's so bad. Dude, Myron, listen, bro. Listen, not all of us have failed like Sneako, okay? You've enlightened a lot of us, you, Andrew Tate. We're not all like Sneako, okay?
around girls all the time. If you're in a barbershop all the time, you're going to get a haircut.
Myron is speculating right now. Should I bring this guy back on my podcast? This is absolutely heinous.
Putting yourself in those situations is going to be more difficult. But I'm saying it's the practicality. It's the advice for the people watching the show. Is it better to fuck a bunch of whores?
He's just smiling at him at this point. He's like, dude, you're embarrassing yourself so bad.
Or to find a girl that you want to settle down, a good quality woman.
That's why you have main girls and side girls and everything else like that. And you're honest. Hold on, relax. You don't
notice how the women start shrieking and complaining. Bitch, you don't get to choose. You have no leverage. You literally can't do anything about it. Supply and demand dictates there are more beautiful women than there are high-value men. That means men at the top of the competence hierarchies win the game.
And I'm telling you, like, having a lot of side girls, it worked for a while, but the amount of, like, mental torture that she had to go through to justify it, like, a girl's never, like, realistically, when a girl's growing up and she's playing with the Barbie, she wants to have the Barbie be with the prince.
That's because she's consuming cogent archetypes for what it means to have, for what it means to build, sustain, and occupy a relationship with Prince Charming. That's what the 1950s were. That's what the 1960s were. But then feminism killed that. What she should be doing is watching documentaries about how feminism, through the resentment funneled from Marxism, started an irreparable hatred for reality. Irreparable. Maybe it's repairable through religion one day. But for this century, an irreparable hatred for reality to the point where masculinity was demonized. That romanticized spirit of Ken when she's playing with her Barbie has been demonized and destroyed by feminists. You get punished for operating that way as a man. You get punished for operating that way as a man. And I can tell you this firsthand. Any man that has experience can tell you this firsthand. They literally call our spirit of essence, masculinity, toxic. It's because they hate reality and because masculinity is the apparatus for which the emotional female mind tethers itself to reality.
Doesn't want to have the prince and a bunch of other Barbies. Let's be honest. There is like some sort of torture that the woman has to go through, and unless you always want to deal with that, fine.
It's a process, but if you hit the frame, you can manage it.
The truth is, a woman is never truly going to get over it. A woman is never going to be okay with the long term.
She absolutely will get over it. She absolutely will get over it if you're high status enough, because she can't replace you and you can replace her. And that is what allows for the trifecta: love, respect, and admiration. If she can love you, she can respect you, and she can admire you. That's all you need, and that's all her heart needs.
Here's the thing. That's why it's so important that the main girl gets certain privileges that other girls will never get. That's so important.
But it's mental gymnastics. She's never going to be fully sat. There's always going to be that in the back of her head, which is not a good for an idea.
What's going to be in the back of her head is, my man is high status enough in order to attract other women. That fulfills admiration and respect.
With all, the talk of the, I guess, the polygamous relationships, I believe that for me, like, my perfect relationship, if I were to describe it, is I'm with a guy and he knows that if ever I get sick or if ever I'm, not...
The 1,000 body count woman is going to tell us what it means for a man to act properly with her. Okay, let's hear this.
Feeling great, like, he can go see other women as long as, like, I'm there. I'll be damned if my, like, I know that...
Okay, let's hear the 1,000 body count literal whore, literal prostitute try to enforce standards.
I have this thing. This is just a personal thing with me only. I do not want my boyfriend or my husband as my caretaker, like, at all. Like, I refuse. So I am a people pleaser, like you said, and I want
You will remain single. Your body count is 4 digits.
my husband to be happy, the control of him. Oh, and it's just, I don't, it's my
You're basically advocating that a relationship is never built on trust. It's always built on leverage.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's always built on
Yes.
leverage.
Pretty much.
Yes, it is.
Yes, yeah.
And for women, it is in the 21st century. In the 20th century, in the 1950s, women actually, they followed and adhered and respected their man because God said so. We don't have that now. So men have to win the game, and the tools left for us to do that are to become high status.
That's the dark side about relationships.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Relationships are absolutely built on leverage. The problem is that we sit there and we tell women, "Oh, you're the prize," etc. And we give all the power to women and we give all the leverage to women. What I'm saying
You
is,
have to the modern woman, you have to constantly remind her that she is here and you are here. And the exceptions for that are in the 1% where she was raised by a religious family. But besides that, you have to have that. Otherwise, she has nothing that keeps her in her proper place of supporting you, in her proper place of following you.
is this: fuck what women want. I give them what they need. They need that emotional turmoil. They need that competition anxiety. They need a guy who emotionally stimulates them.
What?
How do you do that? You do that.
You want
by
an
being-
anxious wife?
Hold on, bro. I hate to say it, but anxiety is your friend as a man.
What?
When you deal with women.
Yeah,
Bro.
See, you're a young Padawan.
See,
you
you
don't know
understand,
this.
bro.
No.
Boredom
Let me keep
is
it
the
straight.
worst enemy.
Boredom is the worst thing.
And
bro.
you
want-
get bored of you.
Okay, boredom is different than anxiety. You want a wife that's constantly under emotional turmoil?
We're not talking about clinical anxiety.
Well, yeah, we're talking about replace her. In her lizard brain, she knows that you're high status enough to replace her, so she acts right. That's what we're talking about. And also, women are naturally anxious. They are higher in trait neuroticism than men are. That's the reason why you need to be the rock that she can emotionally crash into. That's how you take care of her. That's how you protect her from herself.
No. We're not talking about clinical anxiety. You're playing a little too much.
Competition.
I'm not saying
that they need competition anxiety where they're like, okay, my man is
That's
highly
emotional
desired.
turmoil.
That's fine. Women need that. Women need to be in their emotions to really be connected with you and have a deep connection with you.
So let me just I'm not trying to like twist the words. You want a wife who's in a constant state of emotional anxiety?
She needs to have competition anxiety, yes. You need to have the leverage at all times, bro.
Yeah.
And,
I'll tell you this,
yo,
though.
and here's the thing, Sneako. I wish
sounds
it
like-
wasn't like this, bro.
that sounds like
But
torture for her.
Hold on. Look. Let me tell you why. There's a reason why men have to do this. Women get bored easily in relationships. Way easier, by the way. Studies show this. Women
And
are
they don't have God to keep them in their families now. If they do, then this isn't necessary. If they do, then you don't have to constantly remind her that you're up here and that she's not here because they're hypergamous. They have to be able to look up to you. They date up and across socioeconomic hierarchies. So as soon as they forget that, they lose respect because God's not telling them follow your husband.
way more likely to end relationships and divorce, end marriages and divorce, etc. So how do you keep women interested? You have to keep them emotionally invested. You have to make them feel, I got the best man that I can get. I barely got this guy. I got him by the skin of my teeth. All these other bitches are throwing themselves at him, but he's committing to me. Holy shit. I need to do everything in my power to keep this man.
So you're applying pimp mentality to your wife.
No,
No,
bro.
it's understanding hypergamy. And you've been around these men for over a year and you don't understand hypergamy, you're a failure. This is a radical failure. And it's humiliating for you. I'm going to be honest.
That's how pimps keep the girls around, by always keeping them at a.
Well, they're
I
doing
think-
it through violence and
I love
other
pimps doing
shit.
it like
violence, but it's
They're
still
doing it through
a lot of
violence.
times they
You
don't
don't need
need.
to do
A lot
that.
of times they don't need to. They use these types of tactics to keep the girls in line. Maybe this works for a lot of girls in Miami, for like girls that have had past and stuff like that, like in this space. But there's a lot of good quality women that don't need to be in a constant state of emotional turmoil to be in a marriage. They don't need that.
We have interviewed over
The number
2000.
of women that are raised properly by fathers in a religious household is less than 1%. Prepare accordingly with that information.
women, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. The ones that are not from Miami, they're from Wisconsin, maybe Wyoming. They agree that their man might cheat, but they don't want to know about it, and they're happy because they're being taken care of. They've been, I want to say, happy, and they're not bored. Ultimately, I get what you're saying. We should hope as men not to do it, but it's gonna happen regardless, bro.
And I will say
And
this,
they-
Sneako, you're right
they know
about
it too.
this. The less of a whore the woman is, the less you need to do this.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is, though, women need that emotional stimulation at all times.
There's a difference between emotionally stimulating her and then keeping her in a constant state of anxiety. You
Again,
can keep a
depending
woman
on the
excited
woman-
without.
Hold on. Depending on the woman's attractiveness, the amount of options she has, and her promiscuous past, those three factors right there play into how much you need to emotionally keep her invested. If she's not that much of a whore, she comes from a good family, etc., you don't need to play the games like that.
But she needs to know that you can walk away.
Do you think
Yeah,
that's the
any
best
woman.
way to keep a woman interested?
Absolutely.
Is anxiety?
It's called neuroticism. It's not.
But then I was
anxiety.
saved.
Were you? No. Hold on, refresh before you switch. You just said yourself that you want to be monogamous. You just said that.
I do.
So how are you saved if you're in relationships that you don't want to be in.
I've realized, brother, that it doesn't work that way. And the women of this generation, bro, are fucked. So we gotta be fucked too. Or I'm just saying, bro. No, by the Bible.
So are we all coping?
This is 95 IQ talking to 95 IQ. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Rush, dude. That was really funny. That's like a 5 second or a 5 to 10 second way of explaining what I've been explaining. Oh, I'm sorry. That was funny.
Oh, hold on. We are in a way.
The men are coping too. We're just as delusional as energy girl. Am I an alchemy guy?
No.
Yes, you are, Sneako. You're denying hypergamy. You are equivalent to the alchemy alien. By the way, that's another video. The girl next to Myron's insane, by the way.
So be real with you, I do understand that there's a way to live by the Bible standards that is correct.
That's why you guys are fucking girls to like emotionally traumatize your wife.
Hold on. You do realize by having other wives, you're making ranches, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but that could be in a healthy way. That could be in a That's a healthy way. Hold on, Myron, that's the difference between having multiple wives and like, I feel like fucking a white girl today.
I never disagreed with having multiple wives. I agree with that 1,000%.
So then stop fucking random, like, I feel like fucking
I would
white
argue,
girl.
if anything, having multiple wives is even higher level of anxiety because now they're on the same level.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least
That's a great point.
there's something to be.
Islam is not the correct mode of operation.
That exactly.
Compliance. Here's the thing. The bottom line is the compliance comes from the anxiety. Period. Whether it's multiple wives or multiple girls, it's still the same foundation.
No, see, ultimately, the compliance.
Wait. Sorry. Speaking of GPT-3.
What is that? Who is that?
That's your facial makeup?
Man,
Ultimately, Myron.
By the way, guys, keep in mind that she's wearing a wig. She's bald.
he kind of sounds like him too.
What's the camera so fucked up?
Vegeta, we know
I'm so confused.
I'm really confused. Who was that?
Don't
I
worry.
don't know.
One second, Myron.
Did
Shouldn't
not know.
isn't it
Women are so lost.
better if the compliance comes from
This is the natural state that humanity has always existed in. Women have the privilege of listening to men engage with ideas, and they can't even follow what's going on.
respect instead of anxiety?
Because they're not required to ever train this way with their brain.
If she
Yes.
respects you enough to submit to you instead of being scared that you're gonna go fuck a hoe.
That's where the respect comes from.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get respect from your wife is fucking hoes.
Here's the thing, bro. You just said
They're
it
transfixed by it. They feel involuntary admiration
yourself.
for the
Fear.
process at least.
Fear is a necessary ingredient.
I didn't say
for
fear, I said respect.
You said fear. Well, you said you got to make her fear you, and what I'm saying is that respect is a byproduct of fear. Whether it's her afraid that you're going to leave her or whatever it may be, respect, right, is stemmed from fear.
Right, but she could fear losing you without you fucking hoes. She could fear losing you because you're the man that she wants to be with so badly.
Sicko, the
Yeah.
thought of losing you is enough, bro.
There you go.
But
it could be the thought of losing you without the hoes.
It could be by any other
No,
means.
a lot of old women that are married to high status men that have built themselves up and are, let's say, very, very high status by the time they're 60 or 55, they no longer fear losing that man because he's essentially neutered. He's been neutered in all the media he consumes. He's been neutered by society. He's been neutered by his work. His masculinity has been under attack for decades, and he's been feminized. He's been told that exemplifying and acting out masculinity in the world is abhorrent and toxic, and so these women do not fear losing this guy that is now way up here and they are down here because they've aged.
I mean, dude, it's been documented that social proof is by far the most important attraction trigger for women.
Yeah, close.
And social proof comes from having other women, bro. I'd say.
Social proof is another way of saying the competence hierarchies that men create and erect to build the world. Sports, from as early as you may have played sports, as soon as they're keeping track of the score, that is social proof. Whoever wins the game, even when you're 5 or 6 years old, you're practicing engaging in that competence hierarchy of competing with other men for a high place in the competence hierarchy. That's exactly what that is.
There is no better social proof than having women. Cool, you could be respected by other men, but having other women,
Having access. Access is different than having.
I
Having them-
remember I left a guy and he had a lot of women, and it was just like, it was to the point where I felt invisible. So I think that maybe like how much women is too much. Like, is it just like, is he being gluttonous, or does he really love like all these women for like certain reasons, or like he finds value in like
You
their
have
companionship.
1,000 bodies. Enough said,
I can't stop it. Every time you talk, I can't help it. Like,
Dude, nothing that she says matters.
very nice, like you're very nice, but I'm just thinking.
Okay, we can end the video there. We're all in agreement that she has 1,000 bodies. But yeah, Sneako, bro, this is embarrassing. This is humiliating. You've been around fresh and fit for a year, and you can't understand hypergamy. It's very, very sad and pathetic. But we understand the reason why you converted to Islam. Okay, you're not going to be the second Andrew Tate.